I've been making some 3D printed mouthpieces and ligatures for a while, mostly for contrabass clarinet, because that's an underserved market and something I own that I wanted to try out a bunch of mouthpiece designs without spending a lot of money, even though I kind of did a little bit of both, because I have some conventional mouthpieces too. But the new thing is I've been experimenting with printing reeds on a 3D printer. I'll show you my results of that and some play tests. I started out by going to Thingiverse, which is a sharing site for designs, and I found there's several on there, but the one I wanted to use was called Yet Another Sax Reed. It's an OpenSCAD program that you can configure to any size reed that you may want. It uses a library that I struggled with geometric library of subroutines. I struggled to get them going, but I did manage to get them going. So I downloaded that, and this is me running it with plugging in a bunch of parameters over here that are the length and widths and heights and etc. of a contrabass clarinet reed. And then from there you run the program to generate what's called an STL file. It's a file convention been around since there were just CAD machines and not 3D printers. You create that, it's a geometric file that gets then fed into a program called a slicer, and Cura is a popular one. And you put that in here, and then it slices the geometry and creates code for a 3D printer to follow. And you can simulate, just to see how it goes from the first layer. It builds the reed up layer by layer, depending on what you choose, and your speeds and your temperatures, etc. You can print, a three-dimensional, object. So I managed to get that going, and I made quite a number of reeds over the past 2 days. My first one didn't work out so great. I had some voids in it, so that one was unusable, but every other one on here that I made was playable. The main parameter I adjusted was the thickness of the material here. So this is 1/4 millimeter thick, all the way up to 0.4 millimeters thick. Here I did a 2.5, 0.3, 0.35, 0.4. And then I played a little bit with some parameters that shorten the vamp. These ended up being too stiff, so they're not worth messing with around. But I may come back to that because there may be some advantage in shaping the tone by modifying the cut, but that's a lot more work. So there we go. This one. So I did it mostly in white, which I was trying to use up a roll, and I did one of these in gold silk, which is gorgeous. And that's the one I'm going to be play testing today. I'm going to play test 5 of these for you. This is a Legere that I like. It's a 2 1/4. This is the gold PLA silk with a 0.35 thickness. This is a Vandoren Cane reed 3, and I've trimmed this up a couple times. This is a Fiberreed. It's a little worn off, but Fiberreed medium hard. And this is also a Fiberreed, but in the bass sax and contrabass clarinet size, they only make one. Fiberreed only makes one material, their original. But if you go to a Bari sax size, you can get a variety of materials, and somebody says, why don't you try one of these black Onyx? So this is a medium hard black Onyx reed, and these are a little darker, and they fit on my mouthpieces. I printed these, then I trimmed them with my reed trimmer. This is kind of a luxury item, but really makes the tip real nice to take a little bit right off of that, because this will come out a little jagged, or at least mine do. And I also lightly, filed the curve and a little bit just to take some nubs off of this, area here. If you don't have a reed trimmer, you just might have to do a lot of extra filing. I'm going to use my Mojo Cave 3D printed mouthpiece. This is my dark mouthpiece for ContraBass clarinet, one of my Mojo cord ligatures. And also, I'll throw, I guess, just one quickie on this Mojo Wave mouthpiece. This is a little brighter mouthpiece, has a little more baffle, but because this is a darker reed, it pairs well with this brighter mouthpiece. And I can make these in a variety of colors. I have a whole nother video showing me play testing various mouthpieces with a few different reeds, but what's new is on that video I didn't have the black Onyx reed, and I didn't have 3D printed reeds. This is my LeBlanc double B flat ContraBass clarinet paperclip design, down to low C. I'm using my 3D printed Mojo Cave mouthpiece. It's a little darker design than some of my other ones. And I have this paired right now with a Legere 2 1/4 reed. That's the low C. Next up is the 3D printed reed I made. This is made out of gold silk PLA. It's got 0.35 millimeter tip thickness. It's a very attractive looking reed. Most of my other printed reeds are white, and this one, being gold, is a little easier to put on a white mouthpiece. And I don't have to make a white mouthpiece, it's just, this is the one I like at the moment. So that Legere had been my favorite pairing. Now I gotta rethink some of these, because this one isn't too bad. Neither are some of my other choices that I'll be playing. Very gutsy. It's a little brighter, a little buzzy for the upper notes, but very playable. Let's see if I can do a quicker switch by not putting the instrument on the stand. Next up is the Vandoren Cane reed, trimmed up a couple times. I'm not a fan of cane reeds. If you watch my other video on the mouthpieces, they tend to chirp when jumping across breaks for me, large leaps, but not. You got to take a little more care with your embouchure. Next up is the Fiberreed medium hard. This was my first good synthetic reed I found. I started with medium soft, which were way too soft, and trimmed them up. Then went to medium and gradually up to medium hard. This mouthpiece I'm playing on is about a 2.46 millimeter tip opening. That's 0.097 inches. It's a little more open than some. Not bad. And the last one on this mouthpiece, it's kind of a newer discovery, is that black Onyx fiber reed, medium hard, but it's a Bari sax reed because they don't make them in the base size. And but it'll fit on most mouthpieces. Started with a medium on these, and now there's a medium hard. But they're dark, and somebody had suggested that I try one because it might match nicer on a brighter mouthpiece, which is what I'm going to play next. But this is on my dark mouthpiece. So, a little dull, but if you're looking for something that, you know, blends in with soft playing tubas or something, that might be a good combination. But last concert I played, I'd actually used this Mojo Wave design mouthpiece, which has a little extra baffle up here. And I actually played Russian Christmas music using this setup. And the advantage is it used less air for me, you know, to generate the amount of sound I wanted. So in some of the long phrases, I didn't have to breathe as often. So I'll be going back to that from time to time. Ooh, it's a little tighter fit. I'm going to then move the reed. So let's find out. That doesn't count. So there you have it. They're all, you know, this is fair game. I'm not sure I'm going to put the 3D printed reed in rotation or not, but I might, you know, just to try, see how well it blends in and whatever. And, you know, these don't take much material. You know, it's a lot of design work and experimenting to find out the dimensions that work. But I haven't thought if I was going to sell them or not. But you know, we'll post it on Thingy.